Hi, this is the Business Guy. So what is asset protection planning? Asset protection planning is a set of legal strategies to protect assets from divorce, creditors, lawsuits, or judgments. This involves a series of legal and lawful techniques that can deter a lawsuit. In addition, it can provide you with settlement negotiation power. Most importantly, it can help prevent the seizure of your assets in the event of a judgment. Examples include asset protection trusts, privacy trusts, LLCs, and equity stripping strategies. Many plans include offshore elements in countries where the laws are more protective than they are locally. I'm the CEO of Asset Protection Planners and Lawyers Limited. I've been in the business for 31 years. We have attorneys on staff who you can speak with and are the nation's leading asset protection firm. If you want more information, you can give us a call or fill out a free consultation form at assetprotectionplanners.com. At the core of any asset protection plan is a professional and legal examination. For example, an attorney or consultant, such as those on our staff, can assess one's financial situation, assets, risks, as well as personal or family goals. There is a variety of legal techniques that you can implement that provide a range of protective features. This can be from simple financial privacy all the way to judgment-proof asset protection, such as an offshore asset protection trust. The planning is tailored to the assets, risks, and comfort level of the individual or family seeking protection. In fact, there are several resources to help you, such as the videos on our YouTube channel. Now, to maximize the effectiveness, planning should take place before the need arises. However, there are options that provide asset protection after a lawsuit is filed. In fact, Shark Tank investor Kevin O'Leary, aka Mr. Wonderful, says asset protection is a grand form of financial insurance. Ideally, one should implement it well in advance of the need for it in order to avoid a fraudulent conveyance ruling. Now keep in mind, fraudulent conveyance is generally a civil matter and not a criminal one. Nevertheless, plans are much more effective for debtors who have the foresight to set them up before a lawsuit strikes. So get complete information to understand your needs, but once you do, take action. Wealth protection, when to act. If you think or know that somebody is going to sue you, do not wait any longer. Look into your options immediately. That is, the sooner you act, the more favorable the outcome will be. Asset protection planning is creating a complete financial plan, taking one's entire situation into perspective. The legal and financial vehicles used range from business entities, estate planning instruments, and tools to encumber assets. This often includes multiple legal jurisdictions. This means setting up entities in foreign countries where the laws are more favorable to the defendant or debtor. This can also keep assets out of the grasp of a determined, results-oriented local court. One of the most powerful examples of these tools is the Cook Islands Trust. Now, these concepts are designed to deter a legal opponent from pursuing you, and they should make it difficult or impossible for somebody to take your assets in a lawsuit when a judgment strikes. Now, with proper planning, an individual can protect his or her lifetime of accumulated wealth, including savings, real property, investments, and even future income. For example, see our video on the 5 legal tools to protect your assets from lawsuits that discusses some specific strategies. The benefits. When you establish a proper asset protection plan, a legal opponent or creditor recognizes that you are not an easy target. Little to no assets are within the reach of a judgment. Now, this puts you as the debtor in a powerful position. Markedly, this can deter a lawsuit, or in the event of a lawsuit or litigation, provide substantial negotiation leverage. By the way, don't expect your lawyer to jump up and down with excitement and tell you to run out and protect your assets. He'll be too worried about what that judge will think of him in the next 10 cases he brings before that judge. So to enjoy the benefits of peace of mind, hire one attorney to defend you, and then hire another attorney who specializes in asset protection to protect you. In fact, we have attorneys and consultants on staff who you can talk to by calling or filling out a free consultation form on our website. Financial privacy. Now, one of the first benefits of implementing certain legal vehicles to protect assets is privacy of ownership. You can hold real property in land trusts. You can hold other forms of wealth privately in international LLCs, for example, therefore reducing your visible net worth. You can reduce the risk of frivolous lawsuits or predatory legal attacks. Now, when a contingent fee lawyer reviews your case, he will first perform an asset search in the public records. He will look for available assets that he can quickly and easily liquidate to satisfy a judgment. Having no assets tied to your individual name drastically reduces the chances of a lawyer taking the case, thus lawsuit deterrence. In summary, all of an individual's or family's assets, investments, savings, property, business income, and real estate can be owned privately through a variety of legal vehicles and business entities. Lawsuit avoidance. Lawsuits and litigation are expensive. In fact, they're financial vampires. When you protect your assets through a well thought out plan, quite simply, there's less to lose. This is the equivalent of taking your chips off the table when the stakes are high. As you know, the only real winners in a lawsuit are the lawyers. Even if you win a lawsuit, you're still out your own legal expenses. They can even be substantially higher than the lawsuit itself. Preventing a lawsuit is more important than winning a lawsuit. Asset protection planning is a key measure that can prevent you from being involved in a long, drawn-out legal battle. Judgment proofing. The final straw in any plan to protect assets is this: did it prevent the seizure of your assets? Achieving this may require powerful international legal tools such as an offshore trust. Why? Because a determined lawyer and results-oriented judge can penetrate just about any domestic asset protection plan. So your resolve needs to be even stronger. As such, about the only way to win in such circumstances is to remove your assets from the reach of your local court. Using powerful offshore structures can do just that. Thus, it places your assets beyond the grasp of your creditor. Now, don't be fooled into thinking that the only safe place for your money is back home. It's not. The U.S. has 80% of the world's lawyers and 96% of the world's lawsuits. Moreover, with regards to bank safety, of the 50 safest banks in the world, as of this video, only 4 of them are located in the U.S., all on the bottom half of the list. All 4 of them happen to be tiny farming banks. There is not one national bank on the list. That's right, not one. So the safest banks in the world are located outside the U.S., not inside. Now keep in mind that an international bank account alone won't do the trick. Otherwise, the judge could just force you to bring the money back. You'll need a combination of the proper legal tools in conjunction with the right international institution. Types of planning. Asset protection planning can be very broad in scope. It starts small, such as carrying auto insurance. It can also include multiple legal tools and business entities using local and foreign jurisdictions. The choices depend on the protection needs, risks, and comfort levels of the individual. The primary vehicles for estate and asset protection planning are as follows: asset protection trusts, privacy trusts such as land trusts and title holding trusts, limited liability companies, LLCs, foreign corporations and LLCs, equity stripping, domestic asset protection planning. There are a few options that provide protection of one's assets using legal vehicles and business entities in one's home jurisdiction. The introduction of the Domestic Asset Protection Trust, or DAPT, is a relatively recent concept in the U.S. Such legal entities can provide mid-level protection for property owners, physicians, small business owners, and provide protection against internal liability. The problem is, as many attorneys will attest, many judges are insistent on getting their predetermined result. Therefore, we repeatedly see them set the law aside and seize the assets of domestic asset protection trust. In fact, this is the consistent result we see when the trust is in one state and the settler of the trust is in another. For example, we do not know of one case where a Nevada asset protection trust has protected the assets of a California resident. You're here, your assets are here, I'm going to let your creditor seize them. Signed, your friendly neighborhood judge. In such instance, there is very little a domestic trustee can do but comply. Offshore asset protection planning. The most effective asset protection plans involve a combination of international legal entities and financial institutions. Nevis and the Cook Islands are some of the safest and strongest offshore trust jurisdictions in the world. What's the best way to completely bulletproof the protection of your assets? Remove them from your local legal jurisdiction. The countries mentioned here do not recognize foreign court orders. So when you move your assets to a legal jurisdiction outside of your domicile, you place them outside the reach of legal predators. Placed in the proper vehicles, such as the offshore trust and LLC, this type of planning can offer the utmost in legal protection. These foreign jurisdictions cater to investors seeking safe harbor, and many of them offer tools to shield wealth by legal statutes that strongly favor the debtor. Corporations, LLCs, trusts, banking, as well as investment accounts are available to diversify and secure one's financial holdings. Now, what about safety? The Corruption Perceptions Index, CPI, currently names New Zealand as the #1 safest, most trusted jurisdiction in the world. What is the Cook Islands a part of? New Zealand. The U.S., on the other hand, is currently in 27th place. The conclusion? The most protective laws in the world, the most flexible legal systems, and the most investor-friendly laws are in offshore jurisdictions with long-standing case law history of protecting personal assets. Okay, so who should plan? The answer is anyone with something to lose should at least consider protecting it. Most people are under the impression that asset protection planning is strictly for high net worth individuals. However, the contrary is also true. In fact, the best illustration of this is to compare a judgment of $350,000 to a multimillionaire and a family with a modest home, savings, and income. In the case of the millionaire, the judgment is a fraction of the total net worth. However, in the case of a family, it could be just about all of it. So who should consider creating an asset protection plan? The answer is both. Taxation. Asset protection vehicles are generally tax-neutral entities. As such, income tax responsibility passes through to the taxpayer. The IRS doesn't care if you have an offshore vehicle. They only care if you pay your income tax and file the proper documents. Now, there may be some tax savings measures you can implement, but commonly, protective planning is tax neutral. Personalized planning. Asset Protection Planners offers a personalized approach to your planning needs. Therefore, our attorneys and consultants take our clients by the hand and guide them in the right direction. Furthermore, we inform and educate them and their attorneys on the available options. That way, they can make confident decisions throughout the planning process. Now, this area of the law is not one in which professionals need to get excessively creative. Understanding the laws and features of these legal instruments helps us to properly implement the proper tools and combination of legal vehicles. Accordingly, with our specialized knowledge, we use strategies that are proven to work in similar situations, ones that are backed by solid case law. In closing, here are some common asset protection FAQs. What does asset protection really mean? Asset protection means employing strategies and establishing legal tools to shield one's assets from the claims of creditors. For example, individuals, including people and companies, use asset protection to restrict the access of creditors to property of value within the confines of creditor-debtor law. What is the best way to protect assets? Here is a list of the best way to protect assets. Land trusts for privacy of ownership. LLCs for asset protection and lawsuit protection. Corporations to shield personal assets from business lawsuits. Equity stripping, which encumbers assets and reduces their value. Offshore asset protection trusts, which is the best way to protect liquid assets. Why is asset protection important? Asset protection is important because it reduces the risk of losing the property you have accumulated through your time, knowledge, and labor. Assets can provide financial security. Furthermore, financial security provides peace of mind. It gives you the ability to provide food, clothing, and shelter for yourself and those you care about. So protecting assets is important because it gives mental and physical security for yourself and those who depend on you to provide for them financially. And finally, what is asset protection planning? Asset protection planning is taking legal steps to protect your assets from creditors. This may, for example, include lawsuits, judgments, divorce, and business disputes. As we've stated, plans to protect your assets can include establishing asset protection trusts and limited liability companies. Additionally, it can also include encumbering property to strip its equity and then placing the proceeds into a protective structure. As such, we can prevent asset seizure when a judgment strikes. Plus, it improves one's ability to negotiate a favorable settlement. For more information, call us or fill out a free consultation form at assetprotectionplanners.com. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with those who need it. See you next time. This is The Business Guy.